Like every other project in which Elon Musk is involved, he aspires to be the industry's leading figure. That may be seen in Tesla's near monopoly of the electric vehicle market, and Elon Musk's SpaceX's recent promises to not be outdone in the goal of returning to the moon by 2024. The project to put a man on the moon again has been the rave for a while now. Man aims not to just to visit this time, but to permanently maintain its presence on the Earth's moon surface. This is the bedrock of how the Artemis program was born by NASA. He intends to not just touch down again, but build a test station among other things on the moon's surface. The name Artemis is derived from Greek origin, the Greek goddess of the moon, a sister to Apollo, which was also the program by NASA that brought crews to the moon about 50 years ago. The Artemis program was mandated by the Space Policy Directive 1 during President Donald Trump's administration, which directed NASA to focus mainly on missions predominantly to the moon, with the rather ambitious deadline of 2024, announced by the then Vice President Pence under the Trump administration. With a budget of well over $22 billion, the program is expected to be a huge success. Now, while this projected timeline might seem to many experts out there to be unrealistic, SpaceX's CEO and founder Elon Musk doesn't seem to think so. He was quoted saying, "I think it will happen. I think 2024 seems likely," and even went so far as to add, "We're going to aim for sooner than that." Elon Musk genuinely thinks that Starship could be flying people frequently as early as 2023. What then is Elon Musk's beloved Starship about? In Elon Musk's grand plan for SpaceX, starships and super heavy planes play a very huge role. Since the creation of SpaceX in 2002 to help man colonize Mars, the company has aimed to deliver a machine capable enough to take off from Earth and effectively land on its destined planetary body in space. Crafting a reusable machine that will not be condemned on one use is pivotal. This is where this 100-passenger spaceship called Starship and its accompanying giant propellant known as Giant Rocket comes into play. The Giant Rocket will be responsible for launching the spaceship out of the Earth. This is necessary to deal with the Earth's high gravity resistance. The launched rocket will then come back to Earth for a vertical landing to be used in another future launch. The launched spaceship will make its way to the designated planetary body, be it the Moon, Mars, or any other planetary body. The craft is built in such a way that it can handle landing on the designated planetary body and also take off with the need of the giant rocket to launch off. This, of course, is due to the difference in the gravitational pull of the body as compared to that of the Earth, where it would require so much energy and force to achieve the necessary escape velocity to evade space under heavy restriction by Earth's unique gravitational pull towards the ground. Now, one of the most important components of this plan by Elon Musk's SpaceX is the off-Earth refueling of the spaceship. As the returning spaceship from the designated planetary body would need to be refueled on its way to Earth with locally produced propellant. Enough about the transit vehicle, the Starship. What does the new moonbase that the spacecraft Starship will take a scientist to have and will need to function efficiently as a base of operation and as a valid point to host human presence permanently? The expedition to the moon is expected to be near the moon's south pole. This region is characterized by key features that are important to the success of the moon expedition program. The first is that the south pole of the moon is a place of extreme light. Scientists and engineers have highlighted two key features that must be available, one of which is that the site must be exposed to almost continuous sunlight. This is crucial because the solar energy generated from exposure to the light is necessary to effectively power the base, and also to moderate off-the-chart temperature swings on the base. Now, while the South Pole region of the moon has many well-lit areas, there are still regions there that see more light exposure than others. Based on research, scientists have discovered that at much higher elevations on the moon's South Pole region, at the rim area of deep craters, there is a higher period of light exposure based on geographical positioning. The bottom areas of these crater regions are extremely dark, with extremely cold temperatures that can go as low as over -200 degrees Celsius. This unique lighting phenomenon is the result of the moon's tilt and also the unique topographical outlook of the South Pole region of the moon. Where the Earth records an angular tilt of 23.5 degrees, the moon is placed at 1.5 degrees on its axis. All these imply that we have the experience of sunnier and darker seasons on the Earth, and also mean that the height of the sun in the sky at both south and north poles of the moon doesn't change much during the daytime. The second key reason for the South Pole being chosen as the landing spot, and also the place for the base establishment, is quite the opposite of the first. Now, while astronauts would need the light on the moon to a large degree, they would also require to take trips into the dark craters periodically. It is expected by scientists that the dark interiors of the moon craters on the South Pole region of the moon possess reservoirs of frozen water that could be essential to explorers as life support. NASA's Goddard planetary scientist Daniel P. Moriarty, who is involved with the South Pole site analysis and planning team at NASA, one idea is to set up camp in an illuminated zone and traverse into these craters, which are exceptionally cold. What then is the importance of having access to these frozen water reserves in the craters? The importance of water in the inner solar system cannot be overemphasized. Water needed in the biological system of man, it is essential to drink. While a man needs water to survive, so do plants. This is important as plants can be grown for food. Water can be separated into hydrogen and oxygen crucial for the breathing of a man. Combine these elements again and you get rocket fuel. Do note that this is what the spacecraft runs on as fuel in its main tank. Water can also be used as a propellant agent with steam rockets designed for space. The moon's surface is exposed to charged particles from solar wind and galactic cosmic radiation regularly. Water can come in here as shore radiation-proof cover or shield. Another significant point to note that scientists are watching for is the distance of the landing area of the spacecrafts and the base campsite, as well as the elevation of the base camp and landing area. The distance between these locations on the moon's surface ought not to be less than 1 kilometer. When spacecrafts descend, there is spray displacement of high-velocity debris at the ground equipment or areas of special interest. The soft landing of the spacecraft is estimated to spray hundreds of pounds, kilograms of particles on the moon's surface, water, and other gases over a distance of several miles or kilometers. Ruth-Ann Lewis, biochemical and industrial engineer, architect, and leader of NASA's South Pole Site Analysis and Planning Team, said, "You want to take advantage of the landforms, such as hills, that can act as barriers to minimize the impact of contamination. So we are looking at distances, elevations, and slopes in our planning." For scientists, it is the highest importance to provide and maintain the environment around the campsite and base camp as pristine as possible. Eliminating to near completion the possibility of human error or influence on research in general is crucial, even more so for a project outside of Earth. All these points strewn together provide a delicate picture plan that must be meticulously followed to the letter if excellence in outcome or result must be achieved. The important details of the Starship spacecraft, its making, engineering precision, expert handling of the fine piece of machinery, the campsite location, proposed landing site, the angles of elevation for choice of structure placement for the different regions of the base, the light factor from the sun, the darkness factor combined with the stiff cold of the inner regions of the moon surface craters, etc. All these culminate to give a program aimed at success or destined to crash and burn in history as one more of man's failed attempt at understanding the universe or the resounding success of man's daring tales into the dark unknown. Do you think Elon Musk will be able to accomplish his plans by 2024? Share your opinions with us by leaving a comment below.